All right, so let me go back. Hey people, it's Greg, and I want to talk to you about the 5 foods you should never eat if you're trying to drop 20 pounds of fat. All right, so if you're watching this live, hit a 1. If you're watching this on the replay, hit a 2. That's how we do. So I'm going to dive in and explain like what are the 5 foods that you shouldn't be eating if you're trying to lose body fat. Okay, and the reason I wanted to talk about this today was this came up in a call I had with a one-to-one client. And on that call, we were reviewing the client's week, right? Like, how did it go? What she struggled with? What went really well, right? And one of the things she talked about was that she had this list, like she had this, like from some internet article saying, well, Greg, I can't eat these, I shouldn't have these foods if I'm trying to drop body fat, right? And it's a classic one. It's one of those things that happen all the time that I see with the ladies that I work with, that they've come into trying to lose body fat by trying to exclude all the foods that they love. Like, why would you do that? That doesn't make sense, because that then just makes it harder for you to stick to your nutrition goals, right? So what people do is they go on this ultra strict thing and they're like, yeah, I'm gonna really smash it. I'm gonna smash it out the park. I'm gonna go really hard with this, be really strict to myself, because if I do that, then I'll get the results that I've been looking for all this time. And what actually happens is the total opposite, right? So the total opposite happens, whereby actually that doesn't really happen. What happens is you get stuck on this roller coaster of boom and bust, don't you? You get stuck, trying to be extra, 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 extra perfect at your nutrition, and it just doesn't work. Okay, so talking to my client, and she's saying, "Oh, she read this article before, and that's what she's seen in the past, and that's what she's worked with." Now, here's the thing: she'd had a takeaway that week, and one of the things on this list was, "Don't have a takeaway." Right, and I'm like, well, what's wrong with having a takeaway? Like, what is wrong with the odd takeaway? Like, nothing's gonna happen if you have the odd takeaway. Okay, now if you're having like 3, 4, 5 a week, then of course you're gonna land in problems. Okay. Good, Jojo. Glad you can hear me. Don't know what happened before. So anyway, so my client, she's been with me for 2 weeks. She's down 4 pounds already. So she's on track for kind of dropping about 20 pounds within the next 90 days. Okay. Now, we're reviewing her week, and she's like, oh, so she's telling me the kind of the good and bad of her week. She still hasn't quite got into the flow of my lingo and how I work. But here's the thing. These lists of, here are the 5 things, hey Sita, here are the 5 things you can't eat to lose weight, are absolute rubbish. Let me repeat, absolute rubbish, okay? Those lists of don't eat this and don't eat that, all they do is lead you to restrict and binge, restrict and binge, restrict and binge, okay? And ladies, the reason why you failed diets often in the past is because, for that very same reason, whereby you've gone, I'm gonna take everything out, I'm gonna empty the treat cupboard, I'm gonna be ultra good, I'm only gonna live on salad and kale. And then what happens? Before you know it, you're stuffing your face like Slimer from Ghostbusters with all your favorite foods, because you miss them so much. Okay, so in Revolution, what we do is we make sure that you know exactly how much to eat of most foods, so therefore you don't have to worry about having a little takeaway, going out with the girls and having a drink, because that's not how it should be. And if that makes sense, drop a heart so I know that I'm making sense. Okay, so there are no magical lists that nutritionists keep somewhere that says, if you eat these foods, they're going to make you fat. The only thing that can, Joe's giving it some love, the only thing that could make you gain fat is a calorie surplus. Simple as that. And what makes up that calorie surplus could be you might have a takeaway one night in the week. Cool, got it. You might have a little restaurant meal out with the girls. That's all good, okay? But if you're doing the classic, oh, I'm gonna stop eating all the foods I love. Hey Sarah, if you're doing the classic, oh, I'm gonna give up all of my foods and I'm gonna be ultra good. Well, that's what's gonna always lead you to fail. Okay, I call it the 80-20 rule. So my client, she's dropping fat easily, but she still had some takeaway food. Nothing happened. Like, she still dropped a couple of pounds this week. Easy peasy, because she knows how much of all the different types of food she normally eats. She knows how much to eat, because I put that together for her as an individual. And now all she's got to do is just follow the plan. Like, she's got to just follow the guide, her blueprint. So it really makes me upset when I see all these things going around the internet. 5 foods you can't eat to lose weight. It's all a load of rubbish. It's absolute rubbish. And I'm proving it with the ladies on Revolution. If they do the work, then they come up with some awesome results. Okay, got a client dropping 13 pounds there. We got Sarah 5 inches off her stomach and getting leaner all the time, because they know now that you don't have to exclude everything to drop body fat. Okay, it's a myth. So when you see these things of, here's 5 foods you should never eat again. Now, there is 3 foods that you probably won't want to eat. Okay, and I've talked about this before in detail. But number 1, foods that make you sick. Like, stop eating them, doesn't make sense. 2, gateway foods. If you have a food that you know, if once you pop, you can't stop, then you know what you got to do. Get it out, yeah? Number 3, foods that you absolutely hate. Because if you have a food that you absolutely hate, guess what? You ain't gonna eat it anyway, okay? And it's just gonna piss you off. And before you know it, you're like, oh, forget this. Why do I have to eat kale just to lose body fat? Doesn't happen, okay? So if you're a busy woman who's like working 9 to 5 and you're really struggling with your diet and you're really thinking, oh my God, if I'm gonna try and have to do something that's really restrictive, then you're looking in the wrong place for that. Okay, Revolution, we make sure everything's inclusive, but you can still drop body fat, just like my client's doing. She's down 4 pounds in the last couple of weeks, right on track for when she finishes working with me in 3 months. I suspect she'll want to carry on. Guess what? She'll hit that 20 pounds with ease. All right? So, if that makes sense, just comment yes if that makes sense, and that if you could stop believing all of these 5 foods to never eat again. It's loads of rubbish, yeah? So tag someone in who needs to hear this, someone who needs to hear this properly or is really struggling with this. Tag them in. Good, I'm glad, Joe. It makes sense. Good, Sarah, makes sense. Yeah, stop believing this thing. You know, I think Joe mentioned the other day, like, she's been told she has to give up sugar. Well, no, you don't have to give up sugar. Like, how many people are sitting there like snorting lines of sugar? No one's snorting lines of sugar. Yes, you may be eating foods that may be higher in sugar. Coke, I don't know, a few donuts here and there, but they're normally mixed with fat as well to make them tasty, right? So it's not just sugar. So ladies, I really want you to get this around your heads. You do not have to give up any of the foods that you want to lose body fat, all right? That's enough for me. I will talk to you soon.